Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, October 3rd. I had a watch and learn, but I already did it. So all I really need to do is the Tavern Brawl and get 3 victories at the Paladin or Warrior. They've updated quite a few things. They've added the Welcome Bundle back, even for people who've already done it. Although, frankly, getting one random classic dragon legendary minion wouldn't help me because I'm missing 2 legendaries and neither one of them are dragons, and getting 10 classic packs for $5 is not really worth it either. It's probably a better deal than buying, say, 7 packs for $10 if you were going to spend money that way, but yeah, it really doesn't help me. So starting now, I believe, new players will be starting somewhere around rank 50. And they won't, I think, lose any stars at all until rank 25. But they'll just be relegated to new players at a very low rank. And hopefully they'll have a better experience by the time they get to rank 20, if they get to rank 20. Although, I could also see the exact opposite argument being made that just is going to feel like such an unwelcomely low level that it's going to be like demoralizing to start at rank 50 and then have to take a long time of playing Hearthstone and getting to know Hearthstone before you can even get up to the level of rank that I'm at, as somebody who barely plays Hearthstone and doesn't really pay attention when they do. It potentially is not going to really do anything for me or any of the players who are at just rank 25. The lapsed players who should be at rank 10, 12 will still fall back to rank 25 and make it difficult for people who should probably be at like rank 18. That's about where I think I should be. I should start at 18 and each month. It's really difficult to even get to 18 by the end of the month. Let's see, we have Tragic Master saying yo. Hey Tragic Master. I can come back and report that I actually recorded some Borderlands 2. I've realized that Borderlands 2 seems to feel like it's a lot more of a serious game than Borderlands 1. Perhaps it's because I played as the Siren in Borderlands 1 and she was her voice callouts, her just reactions when she headshotted somebody, the maniacal laughing, the real sounds of having fun are totally missing playing as the assassin. And I really didn't get in Borderlands 2, they really didn't warn me to say, hey, if you play as the assassin, this character is not going to make any sounds whatsoever. Pretty much throughout the whole game. He'll say grenade once in a while, but the vast majority of the time he is just totally silent. But then it gets into a weird point where if I wanted to play with the assassin's skills and abilities, which sounded like they would have been fun skills and abilities and actually haven't turned out to be that fun, mostly because his melee attack damage is just incredibly low. That idea, I would have had to trade potentially if the assassin is the silent character, and all the other characters like Salvador the Gunzerker actually do have a tendency to make more sounds and have more fun with what they're doing. That's a unfair choice that the game would force me into making. Do I play the game style I want, or do I play the audio feedback style that I want? And kind of in Borderlands 3, I think that they should probably just go with full customized characters. A male character, a female character, give them a generic, fun-loving personalities, and then have a class mod that lets you change your class. So at the beginning of the game, you potentially spec towards a Gunzerker, and then it says don't worry, if you don't like being a gunzerker, you can change that at the respec machines, which in Borderlands 2 there's like only one respec machine compared to Borderlands 1 where every respawn station you could respec that, which I have no idea why they took that out. Some of their decisions really don't make a lot of sense, other than it seems like they're trying to make the game more serious, although some of the side quests are oddly not serious. For example, I'm in the opportunity level. The main story level is very serious, but there's this sides level that you can do right before or after the main story level that is totally silly, with Handsome Jack making sexual jokes about having previously dated Mad Moxie, and then the main story is him killing the angel character that has been helping you throughout the whole game, or hurting the angel character, and being very, very serious. So there's this bipolar tonality to the game that doesn't really work. Opportunity as a level is way over textured and way over thought through, and has very little to do in it, and the things you do in Opportunity in particular are very repetitive. There's a submission where you have to destroy metal statues, and in the exact same area there's a mission where you have to get bombs and place them on cardboard statues. So you have two almost certainly back-to-back missions where you do the same thing. In the middle of the game you have a mission where you blow up a train. Later on near the end of the game you have another mission where you blow up a train. Just the same ideas doubled up, stretching Borderlands 2 to be much longer than it probably should have been. And it's just kind of feels dull. I know I'm having a bit of a weird experience playing it, since I've already played Borderlands 2, the main story, at least once before, and I've recently played Borderlands 1 to completion. I did all the DLC, and so I don't know if I can really stomach doing the Borderlands 2 DLC. I'm gonna try, but I'm hoping that all of it's kind of short, and it probably isn't. So perhaps if Borderlands 3 came out, maybe they should make it more of a games as service type thing. I hate to make that suggestion, considering games as services generally suck, but if you think about it, there is some truth to the idea that you could very easily burn out on all the content by just rushing when you really shouldn't rush. I guess maybe it's not as much that it needs to be a games as service. There I just dropped my brand new mouse. That's gonna happen a lot. Good. I need to readjust my cushions. That I've got actual cushions on the floor to cause less damage when I drop things. So yeah, Borderlands 2, it's gonna be an interesting question. What else? Is there anything else really going with my channel? Open this. I decided to go through my subscriptions. It's probably been about 8 months since they kicked every small YouTuber out of the YouTube Plugger program. In what I think would be fairly described as a desperate attempt, I subscribed to everybody who had subscribed to me at the time. And what that did, since subscriptions are listed, it put a lot of people that had no subscriptions now getting singled out. Some of those people had like their real names and their and what seemed like their real names and their real photos listed, Guess we're just gonna play Paladin now. And so it was putting people on out to the public, and felt a little bit close to doxing them. I mean, it's not giving out too much real world information, but it did feel a little awkward there. So, and it also just made a weird subscription page on my YouTube channel where I'm subscribed to a bunch of random weird people, instead of say being subscribed to like This Guy's Toast or Preparian or Trump, Trump being the Hearthstone card player, or YouTube Gaming, things that might be useful if people saw my subscriptions to see what shows I recommended. Also, there was a lot of things that I just don't recommend people follow that I was subscribed to, and I decided to unsubscribe from them too. So I decided to clean up my subscriptions, and what I did is I opened up everybody that I was subscribed to. I looked to see if their subscriptions were public, and by default they are, so the vast majority of people are. I excluded a few people that I know have chatted to me directly and I know are actual fans, so I'm still subscribed to them. But if I found somebody had unsubscribed from me, I just turnabout's fair play, unsubscribe from them to clean that up. Also, this gives me a slight insight on people who may have been interested in my channel, and then either I got boring to them or I changed in some ways and they didn't like what my channel. A lot of the people I was subscribed to certainly seemed like they were fake accounts and troll accounts that, well, I would say troll accounts, but fake accounts that had simply subscribed to 20 random unassociated styles of YouTube channels. And I could certainly see that some of those fake accounts might subscribe to a random YouTuber to not get caught to the fact that they are getting paid to subscribe to other YouTubers, or there might be just fake accounts out there that just randomly connect subscribe to accounts for no real reason. So I just kind of cleaned it up, and so yeah, I unsubscribed from a lot of people. Nothing super personal there. If you are still a fan, I might have made a mistake, but I think for the vast majority of it, the people I unsubscribe from aren't watching or staying subscribed to my channel. I could see that, certainly. My channel does put out a lot of videos. It depends a lot on whether or not you are the type of YouTuber that uses the subscription feed or uses the recommended feed.
Your magic shall not save you.
But yeah, and I don't think that attempt to subscribe to all my fans really didn't get any new subscriptions by that much. The truth is, nobody has even 5 people, I would guess, on average, that they could go to and say, hey, will you subscribe to this YouTuber's channel and help them? I don't think anybody has that kind of influence. And like, I certainly cannot think of 5 people that I could ask them, but I guarantee you not all 5 of them would really subscribe. And that's really the one thing. Tragic Masters, we are the quote random weird people smiley face. No, there was some other ones that were the random weird people because of what they were subscribed to. Like, there were some that were like subscribed to clearly not English channels, or it would be kind of one video game subscription, one music subscription, one random subscription. It didn't look like, to me, like a real person would want to have such varied interests and only be subscribed to one source of each varied interest. Like, you would think if you're into video games, you'd be subscribed to more than just my channel. But mine was the only video game channel that they were subscribed to. And they'd only have like 20 subscriptions.
Converting stored energy.
Let me screw that up, I believe. But yeah, I don't think I'll go on another subscribing spree ever. It doesn't really think. If anything, there's a good argument that I should just hide subscriptions from my channel. But I seriously doubt any of it has anything whatsoever to affect the YouTube algorithm and whether or not my channel or any small YouTuber's channel gets promoted. There is, I suppose, a question that could be asked about what will happen in November, because it is looking more and more likely in November that both I won't have time to work on making an outro, which is the thing I wanted to do, and I won't have time to record anything other than the Boomsday puzzle solutions and get those scheduled out, and just Borderlands 2 and Hearthstone. So my channel will be down to 3 pre-recorded things coming out compared to 4 or 5. Let's see. Battlecry 2 plus 3 1 2 this. I played the wrong thing. I should have played this. Oh well. Let's start getting into the news now. GameIndustry.biz has an article. Hugo Games acquires Fifth Planet Games for $737,000. The Kings of Soccer developer brings Sacramento Studio into its fold with games that generate $800,000 per year. So I haven't heard of either one of these companies. There was a point-and-click adventure game called Hugo's House of Horrors a long time ago, like maybe a couple decades ago at this point. But also, there's many other reasons why you would name your company Hugo Games. Guess there's nothing really much more to say about that article. It's just an inside baseball type report. The game Stasis, which is mostly positive, 78% of 667 users, I believe is out of early access now. Generally speaking, I don't have a venue to talk about games coming out of early access, and it's not a what's on Steam element that would be talked about. The reason why I know this game is out of early access is because I followed this developer and they tweeted it out themselves. Stasis is the sequel to the free-to-play. Let me double check this. Yeah, the no, it's not free-to-play, it's free game in general called Kane, C-A-Y-N-E. This has a crazy trailer video that I'd recommend everybody check out. Basically what happens is this woman gets abducted by aliens and impregnated, and so in this point-and-click horror adventure you're wandering around with this giantly 9 months pregnant woman wearing this metallic medical bra like thing that covers her chest and and most of her stomach. You really don't get to see it outside of the trailer, frankly. She looks, for the most part, like a regular old, a regular sprite. But this was a game that I covered maybe last year, maybe a year before for Mother's Day. I thought it was a pretty funny joke myself. Kane is very positive, 80%, 980. It's a pretty short point-and-click adventure game, and it continues on Stasis. So it's like the prequel indicator of that. So maybe next Halloween I'd play a game like this. It's 29% off right now for $7.09. Let's see. Maybe it just now is coming to Steam, or I don't know why this got retweeted. I thought this game came out a while ago. But yeah, I'd say play Kane for free, and then check out the Stasis as a continuation. I'll put it on my wish list just to make sure, in case it isn't. And I've probably lost at this point. Gamma Sutra has an article. After bankruptcy and layoffs, Toys R Us contemplates a comeback. The folks in charge of selling off Toys R Us assets after the bankrupt global retailer shut down nearly 1,000 stores and laid off over 33,000 people this year, has decided to cancel the auction and revamp the brand instead. Which, this is not unheard of for businesses in the United States to do something like this, but it is kind of unheard of that businesses that are multi-storefronts or multi-markets to do this. Small stores have, particularly furniture stores in the United States, have this tendency of saying, doing a going out of business sales, where they never really go out of business, or maybe they go out of business technically, but they really sell all their assets to a new company run by the same people that ran the old company. There's a lot of coming close to fraud, if not straight up fraud, that's happening here. So in Toys R Us's case, it seems like once they laid off all the employees and shut down all the stores, they're thinking to themselves, well, we might come back and do something smaller with it, I imagine. The thing here is you really wouldn't be able to open any Toys R Us stores. So best you could maybe get a website up together. There's a point here, and this gets back to, in the United States, how much severance, if any severance, are you owed, depending on state to state. It may be a lot, it may be none. That part has not been fully made clear in my head, but the labor advocacy group Rise of Retail estimates that Toys R Us workers are owed at roughly $75 million in severance. But here's the thing is, it's not the fault of the employees at Toys R Us that Toys R Us failed. The thing is, kids aren't buying toys. Toys have always been way too expensive. Video games are going digital, and video games had a high markup. Toys R Us invested in a lot of its own individual toys, as somebody who walked through Toys R Us when they were going out of business, there was a lot of Toys R Us exclusive toys that weren't sold. There was a lot of Star Wars toys that weren't sold. Star Wars had a major hand, and this would have been Star Wars The Force not The Last Jedi, but Star Wars 7 toys and The Last Jedi toys. Like a lot of things done. So a lot of Monster High girl toys, and definitely girls toys in general that were marketed and sold. Not that I'm gonna say it was a get woke go broke either. There was in general a lot of things that the people decided at the top were going to sell, and they simply did not sell, of all kinds of varieties of things. A lot of Power Ranger toys that weren't sold. Things like Legos, totally off the shelves. Most books of any sort, totally off the shelves because they're cheap and they're low things. A lot of the Toys R Us and Baby Us had clothes. Clothes has a tendency to sit on the shelves too. It really was just bad procurement, is the phrase. Bad purchasing and deciding on what was going to be on the shelves. On top of the fact that Toys R Us stores are too big. They're these giant warehouse things. Toys R Us, I would also say, has the slight Walmart problem where their target clientele is not ideally the best. Because if you're in a Toys R Us, you're guaranteed you're going to have kids in that Toys R Us. You're guaranteed that some of those kids, regardless of whatever random Toys R Us you walk into, are going to want a lot more than what their parents are willing to purchase. It's much worse at Walmart, but yeah, you're going to hear kids crying, you're going to hear parents yelling at them, you're going to see things that potentially should be reported for straight up abuse. I imagine that there's a lot of shoplifting at Toys R Us in similar ways as far as Walmart has that too. So it's just not really catering to a good experience for anybody that's in the storefront and shopping online. Amazon certainly played a big role. So I'm going on a bit of a tangent. I don't have a ton of news to talk about today, so that would make sense to do this. But if this really was just a scam to get out from its major debts of owning stores and turn it into a online only service, it's probably not a bad thought. Like, it's probably a good way for them to have done this, to say we're going bankrupt. I would have probably waited until after Black Friday. I would have said we're going to shut down at the end of the year 2018 and sold all of that stuff till Christmas, and at that point then come back and said, actually we've decided that we made enough profit to turn it into an online only store, that now that we don't have so many expenses in paying employees and we don't have so many expenses on the property, that would make sense. Like all that they pretty much are trying to maintain, if I was to guess here, is the actual name of Toys R Us and Jeffrey the Giraffe, because they've already lost all the physical property. That's all gone. They didn't want any of that.
Protocol 7
Let's see. For the video game world, I don't think Toys R Us coming or going is going to affect it any more than it already has. I thought it was weird that GameStop didn't want to step in and potentially expand that way, because GameStop is having trouble seeing a future in selling physical hardware and is expanding into Funko Pops and toys. So you could see definitely merging the 3 GameStops that are often on 3 different streets in an area down to one big GameStop that in a Toys R Us building. But even at that, that would be really, really big. It would need to be something closer to a Best Buy, where there are TVs for sale and other kind of large appliances and computer components and stuff, and just go with these really, really big GameStop type stores and that would be closer to a Best Buy. Apparently, let me just double check here. It's been an hour and I somehow ranted for an entire hour? No. It hasn't been an hour, it's been 30 minutes. Okay, yeah, that didn't seem right at all. Like, my timer's off. So although this stream might not be that long, certainly. We have a game on Steam called A Gummy's Life, which looks like it is a platforming fight your friends multiplayer game with some slightly different platforms. I'm saying platforming, it's not a platformer where you're jumping on platforms, it's you're standing on a platform fighting your friends. Several different things. This spin here that makes it slightly different from so many other games we've seen like this is it does look moderately good, and you're playing as these gummy candy human creatures. It's a multiplayer only game. It's recommended to play with the controller, 10% off for $13.49. Because it's a multiplayer game only, I would never play it. But in general, I don't think I would pick any of these games to ever play. The only other game this developer has made before is a game called Queen Doom, which came out in 2016. It has 14 user reviews. It's 100% positive. It's like a VR archery tower defense game. It doesn't look terrible. 50% off right now for $4.99. But certainly doesn't look great either, and that really is 2 pretty drastically different games. Or styles of games.
stored energy.
What is my purpose?
Let's go ahead and just hit this one. Next we have a game on Steam called Terror. It seems like it's probably a low effort game. It says, what happened with human who stay in subway on the all night? So yeah, it's like not native English speaker here writing the description.
I go blind.
And it is a game that certainly is suffering from dark screenshot syndrome, and it seems like it's probably mostly just walking through a subway, which could have been an asset flip or could have had some work put in it. It's odd this game is only sold in English. It's 10% off for $5.39. It's odd that it's sold in only English when clearly that's not the game. Let's see, this developer has made a few other games. The only one that's reviewed is 45% positive with 11 user reviews, so not of a level of quality. Although questionable whether it's such a bad level of quality that it would justify being removed from Steam. That is the forever dance that will go about in my head. Is this game bad enough that it shouldn't be on sale on Steam, or is it just bad?
I don't need any.
And I guess to go back to the previous argument, is as far as Toys R Us is going, a lot of toys that were still on sale as they were closing down were probably good enough to be sold at Toys R Us, but some of them probably were not. Let's see.
Converting stored energy.
I comply.
And what can we do now? Can't do really anything. I have to kill this guy.
What is my purpose?
The light protects me.
There we go. Gamer Citra has an article. Get a Job. Sucker Punch Production is hiring a lead lighting artist. I'm not sure if this is a real story, but the one I'm looking at is. So yeah, lead lighting artist in Bellevue, Washington. I found from a internet person, a YouTuber, they claim to have gotten leaked some inside information and some videos and internal documents of Ubisoft's diversity push to hire. He says that a lot of the way it is being done is pretty ridiculous, and in watching some of the videos, what is being said in short sentences, when you take a step back and evaluate it, do sound to not be within the realm of reason. But then the YouTuber has certainly a perspective, and his perspective is against what the perspective of the diversity videos are. So he's also potentially translating it to mean a lot more than what it really did. So it's a real struggle to find out if there's any nuance that can be had there. But one of the things he says is that in their effort to get to 50% female employees, they are just filling the HR department with female employees, because none of the developers in the industry no female developers can be found, or apparently by Ubisoft. Now Ubisoft also would be in French, like Montreal, Quebec. There's Ubisoft Montreal, and I'm not sure if there's a United States branch of Ubisoft at all. So, and this YouTuber is promising more information. There's no real big things here, but this is a story that has yet to be reported and may never get reported because there might not really be anything to say here. Basically, he has some cheesy training videos like you would see from any job, until they say something a little bit more specific or drastic. And honestly, the real reporting would come in if ex or current Ubisoft employees complain of discrimination one way or the other. That would be the better point to cover.
Your magic shall not save
cover that information.
Reporting for duty. To battle.
Like, one of the things that I certainly felt in watching that is that there definitely needs to be a division between the games an artist and a creator wants to make, and whether those characters are being forced to be tokenly diverse, and real people who actually matter getting jobs because they're given the opportunity to be hired. Honestly, if the claims of Ubisoft just filling in its HR department with women to meet quotas and not really hiring any programmers or managers or developers, that's not good, because eventually there'll just be a round of layoffs in the HR department, and they wouldn't have really accomplished anything. Also, you're certainly not giving any new voices to creative input of your game.
I will fight with honor.
And then there is also an argument about there's diversity of appearance and then there's diversity of thought. If 100% of all Ubisoft employees think exactly the same but they look diverse, does that make a better game, or is it better to have like a less diverse physically looking group of people that think very diversely? My complaint about Giant Bomb, and Giant Bomb has probably gone even further into being boring, because they are now this is going to be a figurative death blow, I think, to Giant Bomb. They are now getting rid of their couch, and I believe they're going to put in a table and go into something that looks a lot more like a round table YouTube video that you would see on something like CNN's, how all the commentators are sitting around the table discussing things, which is definitely far, far away from what the experience would be for a gamer. Like, no gamer gets his 3 other friends to sit around the table and discuss a game or play a game from sitting at a table. The couch really represents a connection to a real world experience that gamers have every day. It's basically a visual statement, whether they mean to make the statement or not, that the Giant Bomb people are above gamers and they don't need to even try to relate to them at all. But I could certainly be interpreting a lot into that too. A lot more. It hasn't happened yet, so I'll come back and report more on that. So those are a couple of side news, not news stories that are in development. We've got a low effort game on Steam called Giraffe Town. It's one of these, I would say these are like Thailand animators that are hired for like $5 to put these cut and paste characters into games. It's just this weird looking giraffe in an asset flipped world standing on its hind legs, and it looks really, really weird. It's $14.99. Nobody in their right mind would buy this game. The developer of this game actually has reviewed his own game, and he is giving it 100 out of 10, so that's just like a total troll.
Let me think.
Like, this may just be a troll in the sense that it's saying this is an actual game when it really isn't, or it might be a troll in some other ways. Next, we have a game on Steam called Industry Giant. It's a top-down strategy simulation city builder game. Graphics look a little low. It's 10% off for $8.99. The thing about any of these city simulation games is they have there's a lot of them, but not too many of them are very good. This developer apparently worked on Dark Souls Remastered and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Injustice 2 and Rime. So this isn't a fly-by-night developer. But the publisher that is publishing this specific game doesn't really publish anything that's too great. So, and the developer says it's QLOC, and I would hope that Steam does not allow people to pretend like they're some other developer. You would think that there would be some kind of protection, so I couldn't say my name was like Nintendo and I'm releasing these stolen ROM on Steam. But I'm thinking QLOC probably is a side developer that makes PC ports, and they made enough money to make their own game, and they tried with a city simulator, and I'm not interested in it, so I'm closing the tab. Next we have a game called Rethink 2. I vaguely recall seeing Rethink 1. So when did that one come out? October 2nd, 2018 is Rethink 2. And Rethink Evolve 2 came out August 9th, 2018. And Rethink Evolved came out September 15th, 2017. And Rethink Original came out March 8th, 2017. So they're kind of like flooding Steam with this. That being said, I think Rethink is a decently accomplished asset flip game that puts a laser puzzle element to it. So you, like Portal 2, a lot of this is probably ideas that were introduced in Portal 2. You pick up a cube and you use the cube to direct your direct laser beams towards targets. You're in an environment that shifts around like Portal 2, but it looks slightly different. So I guess if you like Portal 2, this is probably a great game for you. It's 25% off for $7.49, but if you buy the bundle of these 4 different games, you get 46% off for $21.56. I'm not 100% sure I'm willing to go with that yet. I guess the real question that this would boil down to is, what do the people think? How do the people feel about these different spin-offs? Let's see, Rethink 2. Like, Rethink Evolved 2 has only 5 user reviews. Rethink Evolved is positive with 20 reviews. Rethink Original is positive with 37 reviews. So yeah, you get to this point where it's like a sleeper hit of some sort. Not really a sleeper hit. That would be the wrong way to describe it. A sleeper game of acceptable quality, perhaps, might be the better way to explain it. So I'll put those games on my wish list, but they certainly can't be very high on the priority. Oh, I didn't mention, but I do have on my wish list 27 categories of varying lengths, but all pretty long lengths. So if I can get the work done and kind of pre-record this, I think after October 31st, I will go through my entire wish list and look through everything that's in the wish list and and make 26 episodes of here's everything that is a symbol or a number would be the first one, and then the next one would be here's everything that starts with A, here's everything that starts with B, here's everything that starts with C. I'm gonna think about how we do that. I imagine what would happen is I'm gonna have my wish list opened on Chrome browser and open every single tab, and we're just going to control tab, or turns out actually my mouse button, my side mouse buttons actually are programmed to go forward and backwards in tabs. I probably programmed that when like years ago and forgot about it. Which honestly, had I remembered I had done that, that would have proven to be very useful in many scenarios. Do this. So yeah, even though I'm saying I'm probably not even going to have any content or have less content in November, I'm thinking of maybe doing something in December, which might also replace some content too. November and December might just turn into months every year where I take it easy. It's probably the worst 2 months out of the year to take it easy, but in suggesting this, nobody's really complained. Like, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this. And see, all I'm trying to do is win. So GameIndustry.biz has this article: EA is killed, pledges to kill again. 10 years ago this month, the EA CEO, John Riccitiello, that's R-I-C-C-I-T-I-E-L-L-O, and the only reason I can tell you it's pronounced Riccitiello is because I've heard it before. EA CEO gets into the spooky spirit of the season by promising the publisher would be an unstoppable game canceling machine. Let's see. I actually do need to get some victories so I can move over to the Asian accounts and work on the Tavern Brawl. So let's try a warrior deck instead. Warrior, quest warrior. Hey, Tragic Master wants to play me instead. Alright, well then we'll try a quest warrior deck on this. So, in the past, this would have been talking about them killing Dead Space.
Versus Garrosh.
Like, the article goes, 10 years to the month, EA added to their already extensive list by killing Command & Conquer Tiberian after roughly 3 years of work. Also Dead Space, also several other EA properties that are under their license. Inherently, I think this is... EA is a great example of why particularly video game copyright should not be transferable from one company to the other, or it should be so short that it goes into the public domain after, like, you know, 10 years would probably be a cool time, maybe even 5 years, because if Command & Conquer as a series was public domain right now, we would have other companies chomping at the bit to make a Command & Conquer game instead of EA making a cheap cell phone game that they announced at E3, and I'm sure most people have forgotten about by now. The quote here is, EA will kill a game or two a year, period, forever. So here's the list. 2018 they killed Command & Conquer Tiberium and The Dark Knight. 2019 they killed a dozen of projects in a bloodbath that cost 1,500 EA employees their jobs. In 2010 they killed Starbreeze's Jason's Bourne game. Steven Spielberg's LNNO and NBA Elite 11. None of these games, I think, were going to actually came out, so that's why they're less familiar. In 2011, they killed an original title at Visual Melbourne. In 2012, they killed NBA Live 13. In 2013, they killed Dead Space 4, a free-to-play Command & Conquer, PGA Tour 14, FIFA Manager Series, NCAA Football Series, and every single Playfish game. In 2015, they killed Dawngate. In 2015, they killed Shadow Realms. In 2016, they killed Criterion's Beyond Cars Extreme Sports Game. And in 2017, they killed Visceral Games Star Wars project, and I believe they shut down Visceral at that point. And in 2018, the article says it's been quiet, too quiet. So, if you ever wondered why people hate EA, that's the reason right there. They are very vocal about killing projects that they probably shouldn't be vocal about, and they could have certainly. I wouldn't be surprised if many other companies. I wouldn't be surprised if EA or Nintendo kills this many titles in development. I wouldn't be surprised if Square Enix does something similar by just pushing and delaying things forever until people forget about it. But these are all pretty big name titles. Like killing an entire Star Wars game, particularly that story, was just because it was a single player game and couldn't make enough money in microtransactions. And that's really where all of this comes down to, is the CEO is all about microtransactions and gypping the player and getting as much money as possible with the least amount of effort, instead of creating an artistic piece, like where I think most other game developers at least try to pretend like they're creating artistic pieces that just happen to have some way to make money off of them. Moving on, we have a GameIndustry.biz article. CD Projekt Red rejects The Witcher's author's request for $16.1 million in additional royalties. The quote here is Mr. Andrzej Sapkowski. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. It's Andrzej, and then Sapkowski is Sapkowski, expects payment beyond what has been contractually agreed. Now, I follow a copyright lawyer on YouTube. He is a YouTuber also, and he looked at the laws that this complaint listed, the letter that was sent to CD Projekt Red, and in Poland, where I believe this is, there seems to be some extra laws and rights that you wouldn't have in the in the United States. Something that along lines will say, yes, if you enter upon a licensing agreement that is not paying enough, you can come back and ask for more money. And that's what they're quoting on. However, the letter also did sound a lot like an extortion letter in some parts. No allegations being made here. It's just, it definitely in the letter the lawyer sent to CD Projekt Red pointed out and talked about how this will cause you bad public relations, and if those bad public relations might lose you more than $16.1 million in royalties. It really comes down, I think, as far to whether or not a court would agree that the Witcher book series was worth a lot more than what the Witcher creator author was paid to license it at the time. because that's where the valuation is going to happen. Whereas right now he's trying to imply, and basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to negotiate for more money for CD Projekt Red to own the entirety of the Witcher license forever, just by, instead of licensing it, to just purchase all rights to the Witcher series, which is what I think CD Projekt Red would prefer to do. So they're also, while this lawsuit comes out, they're negotiating something completely different. This is kind of like the CBS, what is it, CBS Disney merger? Or a CBS Fox merger? Or was it CBS Viacom merger? Yeah. I don't even remember what the merger is. But let's see, let's do this.
Let the pain speak to me.
And then do this.
Everyone here!
We're gonna Tragic Master's gonna win here. Probably. So it's an interesting idea that in Poland there's a law that says, hey, if you enter upon an agreement and it turns out that they buy, say, the example was if you sold a painting for $1 million and then CD Projekt Red sold that painting immediately for $2 million or $4 million, then he could come back and, well, that wouldn't be a licensing issue anyways, but as an analogy, he could come back and say, I deserve more money than the $1 million because you made more than double what I had made. But I don't think it's really going to fall down to that as a issue, because
Nice little raptors.
because it's not that CD Projekt Red just bought the book rights to The Witcher and did no work whatsoever to make a video game. They put a lot of work to make a video game, and they did a lot of marketing and advertising and writing of story elements and characters and lines of dialogues that were not done by the original creator. So it'll be an interesting court case if it ever gets in here. Tragic Master says, everyone get in here. But yeah, in the long run, even if CD Projekt Red never made another Witcher game, I think you'd be pretty fine with it, because you're still going to have a decent trilogy of games that they could sell, and they can just move over to Cyberpunk 2077, which, on a side note, the Warner Brothers is going to be the publisher in the United States for Cyberpunk 2077, which implies something more than I think most people would realize, because that means that in their release of The Witcher 3 directly through Good Old Games, and that being a kind of digital only release, I'm not sure who the publisher of the physical editions of Witcher 3 was before, but it certainly wasn't CD Projekt Red themselves, so that they are going for outside help and hoping for more sales. Although it will be an interesting question, which is more interesting to a general audience. Is it cyberpunk mythology or is it fantasy mythology? I think with Game of Thrones and such, the fantasy realm is a little bit easier to understand. There hasn't been a cyberpunk major movie in a long time. I mean, if you ignore the live-action remake of Ghost in the Shell, the last, like, famous, successful one, I think would probably be the Matrix series. Like, there's clearly got to be something in between that, but I cannot think of it. I'm just playing around at this point. Just how many of these can we get to summon on the ground, on the field? Mega Man 11 is on Steam. It's rated very positive, 92% of 289 user reviews. Maybe Mega Man 11 is the point where I should finally learn to play Mega Man games. I kind of feel like, yeah, that might be the right move. Let's see. Can I do this and this?
I wonder.
Let's see. If I do this. And now everything is at 2. So I can do this. This.
Job done.
And then another turn. Defeated. I've defeated his patrons. Let's see, what is Mega Man 11? It has De Nouveau in it, and it's $29.99. In a weird way, I feel like $29.99 is a little bit more expensive than what I would want to pay for a Mega Man game, because I kind of do think of them as all these nostalgic things that you would, even Mega Man 10, which arguably is probably pretty recent, I still kind of feel like it would be $5 at most. So, yeah. But Mega Man 11 is definitely going to my wish list. Next we have a game on Steam called Twilight Path. It says a virtual reality fantasy adventure set in a surreal realm between the real world and the afterlife. Meet mischievous spirits and gods, solve puzzles, restore ancient stone structures, explore gorgeous and vibrant world. Okay. That is an interesting description. This is a VR game, and I'm looking at the trailer. It looks like it is a polished environment. Kind of cluttered world. With a lot to look at and a lot to puzzle with. Seems like your VR hands interact with these puzzles. I would like this game to be one of these games that you can play with or without VR. I thought I had defeated you, but you come back. Alright, well, let's do this. So now let's do this.
Nice little raptors.
And then do this. Probably played that wrongly. Yeah, I think I played that wrong. Okay, Twilight Path looks interesting. Looks like it has some real polish on it. Let's see. It's English only. Requires VR though. It's 15% off for $12.74. I'll put this one on my follow list. It looks like a real game in VR. It's from a developer who's made a game called Form that came out June 1st, 2017, and that's rated very positive of 480 reviews. So there's some real credibility behind that developer. And let's see. Guess we do this.
I will burn this world and rule its ashes.
Again, get rid of the Grim Patron. Let's see. So, I'm at the Hearthstone update 12.2, which happened October 2nd, Hell's End. Let's see, Hell's End begins October 17th and lasts through October 31st. You get a free golden Witch's Cauldron card just for logging in during the event. There'll be decorations and special Hell's End emotes. And a special dual class arena where you can potentially play as a witch who has the Warlock's ability, or you play as a witch who has the Priest ability, or the Warrior's ability. And the witch looks like what the mage looks like, the main mage character, except for she's wearing a black magic hat and maybe a black corset. So they've changed the look a little bit from Jaina, I think is her name. It says the Headless Horseman will return to Tavern Brawls, and friendly foes from the Monster Hunt join us for a new Tavern Brawl. So there'll be 2 special Tavern Brawls, it sounds like. And Hell's End marks the arrival of a friendly new Paladin hero who's available for purchase as part of a special deal. So if you want a new Paladin hero and new player ranks. We talked about this at the beginning of this stream, which needs to wrap up after this game. But let's see. How do we want to do this? Here.
Job's done.
So there is, for newcomers to Hearthstone Tavern, we've added new ranks to ease your intro into the fray, starting at rank 50 and going up to rank 26, where then you fall back to rank 25 where everybody else. New players can earn a total of 22 free packs just by ranking up in the new player ranks, so it's a great time to introduce a friend to Hearthstone. Oh, that's crazy. So 22 free packs for the new players. I guess that's fine though. I mean, you can't really complain. 22 random packs isn't going to help me too much. And thank you to Tragic Master for conceding, because that helps me get that Tavern daily quest done. Let's see. You earn 3 classic card packs by reaching a milestone of rank 45, 40, 35, and 30. Upon graduating up to rank 25, you earn 2 classic card packs and 2 packs each of the most recent 4 Hearthstone expansion. There's no loss of stars for losing a match when in the new player rank, so you probably will get from rank 50 to rank 25 pretty easily. New player ranks earn end of season rewards, same as the reward as reaching rank 25. So now everybody is getting at minimum a rank 25 new season reward. Players can skip the new player ranks, but they'll miss out on milestone card pack rewards. Interesting. That's interesting that that's going to be an option. New players can unlock wild format and casual mode by reaching rank 25, as before Tavern Balls unlock after achieving a level 20 with any class. So people are still going to be left out of Tavern Brawls, and I don't know why that's a smart move at all. Because Tavern Balls are better in the long run. Let's see. Tragic Master said, smiley face, good game, I've been running patrons all morning. I wanted my Witch's Cauldron, so much value. So let's wrap up the story and then we'll wrap up this recording and move over to a new recording for the European account. The Welcome Bundle refresh. The rolling deal includes 10 classic card packs and one of 6 legendary dragons from the classic card pack. So Alistraza, Deathwing, let's see, Ursa. I can't read all the names off the screen because it's pictures of the cards, but most of these cards, the dragon legendaries probably are pretty good, but I don't know why they're specifically picking them. Even if you purchase the Welcome Bundle, you can still purchase this one. There are new daily quests now. There is a Spells of Fun daily quest where you cast 40 spells, reward 60 gold. There's a Draw daily quest, draw 20 cards, reward 50 gold. That's going to be easy to get, but you probably always re-roll that since it's only 50 gold, and the minimum you can get now is 50 gold. The Full Northshire is draw 30 cards to reward 60, which that's a Boomsday puzzle reference. And there's Are We There Yeti, take 20 turns, reward 50 gold. And then Time Warp Again, take 30 turns, reward 60 gold. And there are new keywords. Cast when drawn. The new keyword has been added to the following cards: Nubarian, Ambush, Burning Mine, Bomb, Ancient Curse, Spider Ambush, Scroll of Wonder, and Darkness Candles. So, now it says cast when drawn, cast a random spell, or whatever it does, instead of saying where in previously, like, Scroll of Wonders said cast a random spell, draw a card. Now it says, and then it says cast this when drawn at the bottom. It now says it at the top, cast when drawn, cast a random spell. Although also Scroll of Wonders seems to have been changed so it no longer draws a card. Let's see, Fireside Gatherings. Innkeepers are now able to select one additional Fireside Brawl from my curated library brawls to offer to patrons during the Fireside events. And there's a Moonwell card back if you get you have to win 5 games in ranked for November to get that, and there is a Blizzard event 2018 that will be acquired for participating in Blizzard events. And then game improvements and bug fixes are listed also in the update. So some moderately big changes are happening to Hearthstone with this newest update. Still not really fixing the biggest issue though. That 50% win ratio is still there for new players. The meta decks being the only decks that anybody plays is still there. The amount of time you have to play any particular game is still there. You can see we were playing with Tragic Master and that game went particularly long just because we were both taking our time. I would kind of wish ranked play would bring our health down to like 15 and you just have quicker games instead of longer experiences. And every once in a while maybe you would have a really long game where you play cards that restore your health from a starting amount of 15 up to 30. That would be interesting. Or, you know, even if maybe in rank play every now and then the game just rolls a dice and it says, hey, this is going to be a quick game. You're going to have 15 health. This is going to be a super quick game. You're going to have 5 health. Like, keep it interesting. That would be very interesting. Like, I don't know how you get ranked play to work that way, but as long as it's randomized and nobody knows, I wouldn't be opposed to every now and then having to play a game where both players start with 60 health. But there's something that needs to be certainly done to speed up the average amount of playtime. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.